Well, Donald Trump is at it again. His intent is to fire current FBI Director Christopher Wray, who, by the way, was put in place by Donald Trump, and replace him with a loyalist named Kash Patel. And if you think people lost their minds when he nominated Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, heads are exploding with this one. Because this one, while Gaetz looked like he was unqualified, this one looks like a person that's unqualified and in many people's estimation is dangerous. Look, the president-elect has the right to nominate who he wants, but you also hope that he exercises good judgment and puts people in place that are qualified to do the job and will do the job for the American people and not him. But we all know who Donald Trump is. Loyalty means more to him than anything, and doing what it is he wants them to do is the job of the day. And he talked about retribution and revenge, and that's exactly what Kash Patel wants to do. You know, there's something really odd about being in Donald Trump's orbit. A lot of times people that do his bidding find themselves on the back end getting in trouble for what they did. It's kind of like a crime family, a mob boss in a way, where the mob boss always keeps his hands clean and everybody that works for him ends up being in trouble and going to jail. And that's what happens with a lot of people that come into the orbit of Donald Trump. One of them comes to mind that I want to talk about today, and that's Rudy Giuliani. Remember him, America's mayor? When 9/11 happened, he was the darling of the country, and rightfully so. And now he's become a shell of himself. And he's been ordered to pay $146 million to two women in Georgia that he defamed. And he's going on a rant about how he's being mistreated and how he has nothing. But my wife always says, you know, bankruptcy and being broke for rich people is a lot different than it is for poor people. I think Rudy's going to be okay. But you got to admit that this guy was riding high on top of the world. And as soon as he touched Donald Trump, everything went to hell. And Donald Trump continues to move on. Rudy loses his money. Donald Trump gets convicted on 34 counts and still gets elected president. So it's one of those cases where you got to be careful who your friends are, because sometimes you will take the heat for them and they come away from it smelling like a rose. The last thing I want to talk about is President Biden pardoning his son Hunter. And I know it's going to make a lot of conservatives' heads explode. And maybe rightfully so. But let's be honest. Donald Trump would have done the same for his sons. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump has talked about pardoning himself. So if he can pardon himself, why can't the president pardon his son? And a lot of people say, well, you know, he promised that he wouldn't do that. And I get that. He did. He made that promise. But I think at the time, Biden was thinking that he was going to run for president and probably win, and that he could protect his son as a second-term president. Things have changed. The circumstances have changed, and his decision has changed. I have no problem with it. You know, it's what powerful people do. They take care of their own. Donald Trump would have done it for his. Biden's done it for his son. So I'm okay with it. And I do honestly believe that a lot of what happened with Hunter Biden was strictly political, especially when it comes down to the Congress. So it's okay. This is a case where, you know, the people you know can either help you or hurt you. In Rudy's case, being the president's friend has done him no favors. And in Hunter Biden's case, having the president as your dad has worked out pretty well.